Citi Field in Queens, New York. We're set for Cubs baseball tonight here on Comcast Sportsnet. And after an off day here in the Big Apple yesterday, the Cubs back at it as they play the Mets in Game 1 of a 3-game series. Great to have you with us, as always, Jim DeShays and Len Casper. The Cubs going through their longest slump of the season. They've dropped 5 in a row, and they're just not hitting right now. No, they had a lot of opportunities in that weekend series against St. Louis, but couldn't come through with many clutch hits at all. And we look at the numbers over this 5-game losing streak, hitting .251 as a team. So that's, on paper pretty good, but with runners in scoring position, just a little better than 100. 1.2 runs per game is not going to get it done. And they did beat the Mets 4 straight at Wrigley Field back in May, so they have that going for them. Yeah, 3 one-run wins in that 4-game sweep of the Mets back in Chicago about 6 weeks ago. But the Mets are a different animal here in their home ballpark. They have the second-best home record in all of baseball, trailing only the St. Louis Cardinals. It'll be right-hander Kyle Hendricks on the mound for the Cubs tonight. He just hasn't gone deep enough in most of his starts. Yeah, he's got exactly 5 innings in each of his last 4 starts. It's been an up-and-down ride for him. A little misfortune for him early on. Ugly record in April, but I thought he pitched better than that. Was solid in May, and you see the numbers recently here in June. 1-3 with a 5.88 ERA. Got hurt by the home run ball last time out. Jonathan Neese, ground ball pitcher. He has not picked up a win in his last 8 starts, and he actually had a big lead in that game at Wrigley. Yeah, in his career, 3-5 with a high ERA against the Cubs. He's been pitching well lately, 4 quality starts in a row for him, but he's not been in the winner's column since early May. So as JD mentioned, the Mets really good at home. They've won 29 of their first 40 in this ballpark. The Cubs offense is due. We'll have the Cubs and the Mets next from New York. Cubs leadoff man gets a hit. Vinny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to Make-A-Wish, Illinois. Beautiful look at Manhattan. We are over in Queens. This is where Shea Stadium used to be. It's now Citi Field here in Flushing. Cubs come in at 39-35, having lost 5 in a row, and the Mets are 40-37, and they have won 4 straight. Chris Guccione will call balls and strikes. Clint Fagan will be the first base umpire. The crew chief is Laz Diaz at second, and Corey Blazer over at third. And you see Terry Collins exchanging the lineup card with a former Met, Mike Baxter. Actually grew up in this area, so able to spend the off day with friends and family, and made a great catch during Johan Santana's first ever Mets no-hitter in 2012. So I know pretty cool for Mike to be back here in this ballpark, but this time as a Chicago Cub.
Yeah, pretty cool of Joe Madden to send him out there with a lineup card. Mike Baxter, who grew up very close to this ballpark. Big thrill for him to be back home.
Going over all the ground rules and the fact that they've actually moved the fences in yet again here at Citi Field. This past offseason, they moved in the fence out in right center, and it has been a more offensive park here in 2015. Shea was offensive for other reasons at times, right? Now the I hate to do that. That's an easy shot. Low-hanging fruit. Now for the Cubs Southwest starting lineup, Dexter Fowler will lead it off. Anthony Rizzo at first. Chris Bryant bats third and plays third. Starlin Castro, Chris Denorfi, and Matt Caesar go 4, 5, and 6. David Ross, the catcher, will hit 7th. Kyle Hendricks in the 8th spot. And then Addison Russell batting 9th.
Well, let's check in with the Mets defensively. You'll see Michael Kadire out in left. Lagares, outstanding center fielder. Curtis Granderson, very good in right field. Still no David Wright. He's only played 8 games this year, so they're kind of trying to figure it out on the infield. Tonight it's Murphy third, fresh off the disabled list. Tejada solid defensively at short. Flores, who had struggled defensively at short, slides over to second. Lucas Duda plays first. Rookie Kevin Plawecki behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Metropolitans tonight is 28-year-old left-hander Jonathan Neese, 6'3", 220 from Defiance, Ohio. He's made 14 starts. He's won 3, lost 7. Has an ERA of 4.12. A finesse-style pitcher. Cutters, sinkers, curveball, changeup. His fastball will just sit around 88 to 90 miles an hour. When he's on his game, he'll get a lot of ground ball outs.
Mets are going with a 6-man rotation. Tried it very briefly, then abandoned it, but now with left-hander Steven Matz in the big leagues. Matt Harvey coming off Tommy John surgery. Noah Syndergaard in his first season. Jacob deGrom, a young pitcher. They're trying to protect those arms and the innings. And they hope to be a playoff team as well. So they want to use some of these guys in October. They've got to limit their usage here in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and their starting pitchers have been very good. They've pitched a lot of innings, most in the National League. And so by using 6, obviously they'll distribute that work a little more evenly.
Dexter Fowler, who homered off Neese back in May, takes a strike to get us started. Veteran southpaw coming back, and that fastball misses low, and it's 1-1. Overcast and warm here in New York.
So the Cubs have lost 5 in a row while the Mets have won 4 in a row, but the Mets have won primarily because their pitching has led the way. It's not like they're swinging the bats very well either. If you look at recent trends, you would set the over-under in this game at about 5 runs total. These teams really scuffling to score.
76 degrees. It's a nice day here in New York. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Fowler has not had many ABs from the right side, his preferred side, and he pulled off that cut fastball from Neese. Is there an airplane in the booth?
Probably one flying near us. LaGuardia not far away is Anthony Rizzo, who went 1 for 10 in the series in St. Louis. Hit by a pitch on Friday in his second plate appearance. Seemed to bother him the rest of the series at right forearm area. Took the brunt of it. And the 1-0 is a curveball over for a strike. Jonathan Nice, a few years ago in spring training, got to meet with Sandy Koufax, who gave him some tips on how to throw the curveball. 1-2.
Got a little zip on that fastball tonight. His velocity this year is more upper 80s, but we're seeing 91, 92 now from Nice.
Working quickly. And there's a little tapper out front of the plate. Milwaukee will retrieve, and he gets Rizzo by a couple of steps.
Do you know what Koufax told him about the curveball?
What did he tell him?
I don't know. I'm curious if
no, I just about the grip and maybe some of the maybe when to use it. I don't know. Maybe they kept it secret. I don't think Sandy Koufax necessarily wants to tell everybody.
He probably said you grab a hold of it like this and snap it out. Babe Ruth used to stick his tongue out when he threw his curveball. At least the Babe Ruth as portrayed by William Bendix in the movie, one of the all-time bad movies. But that's neither here nor there.
Ball one on Chris Bryant. 5 for his last 35 as he drives one out into left, but he top spun it. And Kadire makes the catch to end the inning. Cubs go down in order. Mets are coming up. up 14th or second to last in the National League, 3.58 runs per game. Curtis Granderson has been red hot, but he's about the only guy in a good stretch right now offensively. Ruben Tejada making the transition from second to or third to short. Lucas Duda, the first baseman. Daniel Murphy right off the DL tonight. Kadire in left. Flores from short to second. Plawecki, the rookie catcher. Nice, the pitcher, will hit eighth in their lineup. And Juan Lagares, the center fielder, batting ninth.
Cubs afield. Caesar, Fowler, Denorfia in the outfield here. Brian Castro, Russell Rizzo, third to first. David Ross, the starting assignment tonight. And Alexis pursuing perfection. Starting pitcher for the Cubs is 25-year-old right-hander Kyle Hendricks.
And a strike on the Chicago native, Curtis Granderson.
14 starts for Kyle, 2 up, 4 down, a 446 earned run average. All about the sinker for him. Well, not all about it, but that's where it starts for him. Command of that sinker. is kind of the baseline for Hendricks. When he's got that going, usually good things happen.
1-1 on the way. A swing and a miss on the changeup. Granderson with an 8-game hitting streak, during which he's picked up 14 hits and 5 home runs. Recently hit his 250th career homer.
Yeah, good leadoff man. He brings power to the leadoff spot. He'll take his walks. He typically sees a lot of pitches. Very patient.
Hendricks with a 2-2, and we'll do it again. 14 starts for Hendricks. Only 2 times has he gone beyond 6 innings, and 10 of the 14 starts he's gone fewer than 6, as he gets Granderson on the comeback sinker.
Like Nice, Hendricks starts with a strikeout. Good two-seamer running back to the inside corner. He popped that with the good changeup he threw him earlier in the sequence. Fool a guy with a changeup. Sometimes he's going to be a little late getting started on a good inside fastball.
Ruben Tejada taking over at short, as the Mets have shuffled their infield defensively. So Tejada now at short, Flores at second, and with David Wright out, Daniel Murphy at third.
It's kind of ironic, isn't it? You talked about the changes they've made to this ballpark, and it's how it's playing a little more hitter friendly now, and David Wright can't take advantage of it because he's been hurt all year.
Right.
Oh well. Hendricks typically works quickly.
Swing and a miss. A contact pitcher, but has missed some bats here early on. He's got back-to-back Ks.
Well, it's got cutting action. It's a straight cut fastball, because sometimes you'll see that cut changeup from him, but I believe that was the cutter. Although 81, it might have been the change. You know he's hard to hit because he's hard to analyze. You sit here and watch him on a video and you're still not sure what he's throwing.
Lucas Duda with 10 homers on the season. He hit 30 last year. He's 6 for his last 41. Tejada now 2 for his last 23. Kadire 6 for 46. Lagares 2 out of 28. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for the Cubs.
You can see the conversation around the batting cages as one team leaves the field and the other one comes on, and milling about. You could almost envision, man, I'm really scuffling. Oh, I'm scuffling worse than you are. No way, dude. Nobody's going as bad as I am. Both teams with a lot of struggling hitters right now. I suspect Duda's got a green light here.
He did. He didn't use it. 3-1. Joe Madden just trying to keep the mood light, create some magic. He hired a magician, Simon Winthrop. Did some card tricks, read some minds, opened and emptied a can of soda, crushed it, and then it appeared in his hand with the liquid intact. As Duda singles into right. That was before batting practice today. Quote from Joe to reporters was something to the effect of, it's easier on the road to hire a magician than to get a 20-foot python. A little safer too.
Yeah.
By and large, unless you make somebody disappear and then you forget the trick.
I have to sign a bunch of permits to get the python into the clubhouse, but not so much with the magician.
Daniel Murphy activated off the disabled list today. He had been out since June 5th with a strained left quad. 7 hits and 4 rehab games, and he lines this one right to Dexter Fowler to end the inning. It is 0-0 after 1. debut Steven Matz had, a local kid from Long Island, and the left-hander had an historic debut on Sunday. Yeah, he pitched into the 8th and he got the win against the Reds. But he was the first pitcher ever in a major league debut to knock in 4 runs. He tied the Met record for a pitcher in any game with the 3 hits and the 4 RBIs, let alone a debut.
That's a rookie mistake right there. He set that bar awfully high. They're going to come to expect it now. But what a debut. And I love the shot of the family, the grandpa up there. It's all fired up. Second round pick in 2009 was Matz. So we've had the steady stream of talented young pitchers coming to the big leagues.
Mets pitching staff has allowed 4 runs now in the last 43 innings. As Castro bounces one just foul to the tarp. One ball, one strike on the Cubs shortstop. Nobody's complaining about an off day yesterday, but I think most of it was spent napping as the Cubs team charter got into town as the sun was coming up on Monday morning about 6 a.m. after a long night in St. Louis. The rain delays totaled 1 minute more than the actual game time on the Sunday night game. You wouldn't think of jet lag from St. Louis to New York, but it felt that way yesterday for sure.
A lot of guys out just moving around late in the day to kind of clear the cobwebs a little bit. Probably some canceled tee times yesterday morning.
He's coming back, and there's ball 4. The Cubs have their first base runner.
Celebrate the 4th of July weekend at the friendly confines. The Cubs play the Marlins over the 3-day weekend. It will be red, white, and blue themed bleacher fun on Friday, followed by the first ever post-game fireworks show. That's after the game on Saturday. And as always, family fun on Kids Sundays, which includes running the bases after the game. Tickets are available for all 3 games at Cubs.com.
Chris Denorfia playing right, and he takes a strike, and with him at the plate, we should give you an update on Jorge Soler. Last night went 0 for 3 with an RBI in his first rehab game with Iowa as he comes back from the sprained ankle. Swing and a miss on a changeup, and it's 0-2. And Soler, if everything goes well this week, could be back in action as soon as this weekend against the Marlins.
Yeah, they need that dangerous presence back in the lineup.
0-2 pitch, tapped up along third. Going to be a tough play. Nice is going to let it roll, and it goes foul. He made the right decision. He had no shot to get an out, so really it was a no-brainer for him. But some guys will panic in that spot, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Sometimes the guys will think that it's going to stay fair, and then they'll grab it, even though they know there's no real shot at making a play.
He didn't even do a Lenny Randall.
No, didn't have to get on his hands and knees or anything.
Is that legal, by the way? Are you allowed to do that?
No, I believe you are not.
Was it legal before Lenny did it?
I don't think so. What I would like to do is pull the broom out of my pocket and start sweeping like they do in curling.
That'd be a Tony Randall.
Nice let that go because he's left-handed, and left-handed people are pretty smart generally.
Okay. Clearly immodest as well. Which of the bearded men will win this matchup, Nice or Denorfia? It's the pitcher this time.
You know, the count never got favorable where Joe could play a little hit and run, but I expect to see a fair bit of that from him tonight with Nice on the mound, a ground ball pitcher. So that's not the worst case scenario there, the punch out of Denorfia. Talking with Joe about that earlier today. When you're struggling to score runs, I asked him, I said, are you willing to become even reckless, being kind of crazy aggressive on the bases? And I don't think he didn't really concede that point. He just said, no, but I do believe in starting runners and trying to do a little bit more when we're not hitting.
Matt Caesar with the Cubs' first hit. This is the site of Matt's Major League debut last August 17th. And he jumps on that first one from Nice.
Nice likes to work that cutter in on the hands of the right-handed hitters. He's at his best when he's throwing enough changeups down and away and establish a little backdoor breaking ball, which is a real good 0-0 pitch for him. When he's throwing strikes with that curveball and the hitters have to stay back a little bit, they become susceptible to being jammed by that cut fastball in.
David Ross, who's been terrific defensively this year and looks to get back-to-back starts with John Lester out there tomorrow night. High fly out into deep right center, and Granderson will run it down. That ball had a lot of hang time. Both runners will tag, and that's out number 2. Well, I thought that was going to be just a lazy fly ball, and it got all the way out near the warning track, back onto the track. Now, you mentioned David Wright not being able to take advantage much this year of that new wall out in right center. Here's Hendricks with 2 outs. Probably not the best idea, not that the Mets did it for David Wright, but to ever make some sort of change to a ballpark configuration based on one player or one team.
Yeah, unless you're willing to make, spend the money to constantly be changing your ballpark because the nature of your team changes.
That's the thing about moving in fences. The hitters love it, but the home pitchers are going, wait a second. What did we do wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. So how about if you sign a big-time free agent pitcher to a 5 or 6 year deal, and then 2 years into it, you move the fences in? He's like, wait a minute, we didn't discuss this back in the day.
We'd like to welcome all our viewers watching tonight on CFU in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Hendricks 2 out of 27. Boy, could just get one to the outfield here, knock in 2, but he takes a called third to end the inning. Bottom 2 scoreless. Golden Coors Light Refresherator. Enter for your chance to win one of 15 limited edition vending machines. Today is the final day, so make sure you don't miss out. Visit csnchicago.com/Coors Light to enter. Good to see Cub fans here in the Big Apple. Cubs' only regular season trip here. Well, two clubs in the National League wild card race, so you never know. Michael Kadire looks at strike one. Pretty slow first half for Kadire. He was a career .277 hitter. Pitch. Bounce that one off himself. And it's 1-2. Came to the Mets on a 2-year free agent contract. Cheese. After an injury plagued 2014 with the Rockies. Bounce to Bryant. And he gets him.
Tricky little in between hop. No problem for Bryant, who's been very tight defensively of late. A better job of that throwing too. You know, early in the year, a lot of throws would drift up the line on him. Seems like he's made great strides in that department. Which does his thing, gets the ground ball. Bryant with plenty of time, over the top he goes. Kyle with being his second start in this ballpark, took the mound feeling pretty good about things. I would assume, given his last start here last year, 7 innings of 3-hit baseball, allowed just 1 run.
The Mets have caught up to the Cubs. They're only 1 game behind them. Check that, a half game out of the wild card race. The Cubs would miss the mark. They're behind the Giants, but they're just ahead of the Mets for that 3rd spot. Is the way I should put it. Cubs 39-35, Mets 40-37. Cubs losing 5 in a row. Mets winning 4 straight. At one time, the Mets actually had dipped a game below 500. Flores lifts one the other way, and it'll be caught by Denorfia.
Well, the Mets banked some wins early. They're 13-3 out of the chute, had an 11-game winning streak. Since then, they've been a few games below 500, but overall been able to hang in there because of their outstanding play here in their home ballpark. Very much the Jekyll and Hyde story. 29-11 here. 11-26 outside of New York. Or outside of this ballpark, I should say.
Good call. Yeah, they do play the Yankees every year.
This guy's been swinging a little better lately.
Kevin Plawecki. Travis d'Arnaud is on the DL for the 2nd time. This is Plawecki's 43rd Major League game. Grew up a Cub fan outside of Indianapolis in Carmel, Indiana. Here's a pitch. 2-1. Product of Purdue. Three and one. The pitcher Nice is on deck. So one thing you mentioned, their offense hasn't done a whole lot. They've gotten great production out of their pitching staff. Match the other day. Their pitchers lead all staffs in hits and RBIs. That one will drop down in right center. So Plawecki keeps the inning alive for Jonathan Nice. He's batting .208.
Mets next to last in the National League in runs scored.
Scuccioni.
It's a new Pelotas.
Yep.
Last in team batting average at 235. 14th in slugging. They don't steal a lot.
Off the end of the bat on the ground right to Bryant. Long throw over and he gets him. We go to the third, scoreless. Mooney, our Cubs insider, all season long on Comcast Sportsnet, brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. So, magicians. Joe Maddon trying to create some magic in the Cubs clubhouse before batting practice. Hired a magician today. Kind of fun.
Yeah, you knew one of his gimmicks or stunts was coming soon, and this seemed like the perfect time after a rough weekend in St. Louis.
East has to leave his feet as he makes a nice play to get Addison Russell. Yeah, I had a feeling, he was going to either do something with a lineup, hit Bryant lead off, maybe pitcher sixth or something just crazy, but he decided to do the pre-batting practice magic act.
He said zoo animals on the road last minute. Those are difficult to pull off, but he has a traveling secretary, and VJ came through with Simon Winthrop.
Simon Winthrop. Is he from Chicago? It might even be a Chicago connection.
He said he was on his way. He plays Las Vegas or something like that.
Okay.
So this was his big thing. Taking guys' watches, and they wind up in someone else's pocket or whatever. And the guys seem to get a kick out of it, and this is why the Cubs hired Joe Maddon, to kind of keep it loose, to keep it fun, and kind of take some of the pressure off these young guys who seem to be feeling it more lately.
Two quick ones on Dexter Fowler, struck out to start the ball game. Milwaukee wants a fastball up, but Fowler saying you guys are going too fast.
And both these pitchers up tempo here tonight.
We had seen some reports, Patrick, that the Cubs may have expressed some interest in John Neese. The interesting thing about it, when you look at the Cubs rotation, you got Lester, Arrieta, Hamill. The Cubs don't have to go out and get a 1 or a 2 or even a 3. The depth at the bottom of the rotation is what has really been tested. And furthermore, if the Cubs are going to remain in the playoff race, they need John Lester to be a lot better. I think we forget that. We think about what are they going to add, but a lot of it is just internal improvement at the top of the rotation.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think interest is probably too strong a word in John East. I think they kicked around his name in that they will do that with every single starting pitcher they think might be available. I don't think he's particularly high on their list, or maybe even on their list anymore. But obviously, JD, we've talked about this. It seems like every time the Cubs and Mets get together, it's that pitching, hitting, imbalance, and at some point, they'll probably match up for a deal.
Right, and it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're the Cubs, Neese has a contract. He's under contract through next year with 2 more options beyond that at a reasonable number. So the fact that if you made a deal for Jonathan Neese, he would be on your club for a couple of years, they may see that as a positive. They may view it as a negative. They may be more thinking about, let's just get a rental player in here for this year. And it all depends on what you would have to give up to acquire the player, obviously.
Their 1-2 is in the dirt.
So every team is looking for pitching, and no one sets out to find a rental. That everyone, and the Cubs are like everyone else. They want a guy that they could, control this year and next year and kind of get better now, help them get through some innings, and also maybe build on for next year, because the pitching isn't really coming.
And you're so far behind the Cardinals. What we're probably talking about is a wild card spot. So it's that 1-game play-in. So what do you give up at the risk of losing that game? So if you give up one of your prized prospects and you upgrade your pitching a little bit, and you end up going to the wild card playoff game and lose, you're going to regret that move. So to give up any of the kids that can really play, you've got to get one of their young stud pitchers.
Will get in there as Flores tried to time his leap, but he just could not get that hot shot.
And that's the deal that's most intriguing. One of the Cubs' frontline position player prospects for one of the Mets' top pitching, like a Syndergaard, or not the deal Harvey, but
you were on with Chris Russo today on MLB Network, and he dropped a Syndergaard for Russell. What do you think?
Yeah. And we become wedded to our own guys, whether you're a fan or front office people. And so your initial reaction is, we don't want to trade Addison Russell, but then you think about Noah Syndergaard and how good this kid is. And that's one of those ones you'd have to think long and hard on both sides.
Good answer by you, JD.
That's pretty good stuff. You draw him another one. I don't know what the Mets seem to have a lot of depth with their pitching staff. I don't know who you could pry away from them, but it's intriguing.
Because even on both sides, there's been injuries. Zach Wheeler's out, recovering from Tommy John surgery, and I think Javier Baez, not that the Cubs are writing him off, but if he was healthy, I think he would certainly, kind of be in that conversation, either as a big league call-up or as a trade chip, and that's why getting his hand back in order, his finger healed.
And there's more risk when you're acquiring pitching. There's more risk, right? Because pitchers get hurt more often than position players, or they suffer debilitating injuries more often than position players do. So that would be the fear if you made that trade. One of your top positional prospects for a top pitching prospect, you say, yeah, value is it's an even deal, but all of a sudden if that pitcher blows out, you're like, wow.
Strikes on Anthony Rizzo. Runner at first, 1 out. Cubs batting here in the 3rd inning. Popped up. Murphy hugging that foul line and makes the catch just into foul territory for the out. We mentioned Jorge Soler earlier. Assuming everything goes well this week, maybe this weekend against the Marlins.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan, and obviously, Jorge hasn't had that kind of rookie of the year campaign that people maybe had hoped for, but as Joe Madden said, he's a presence that when his name is in the lineup, the other team kind of has to account for that power potential, his ability to get on base, even though he's been striking out at a rate that was kind of surprising. So maybe he could be, kind of in essence, a trade deadline addition. And you saw Anthony Rizzo's frustration there, slamming the bat on the ground after popping up. The Cubs could use kind of an offensive lift right here.
1-1 on Chris Bryant. Patrick, thanks for stopping by as always. Check out all of his work, Comcast Sportsnet, CSNChicago.com on the web. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, guys.
There's a base hit as Bryant pulls one into left. Big turnaround second as Fowler will hold there. And it will give Castro a chance with 2 men on.
Now the theme of the weekend in St. Louis, at least offensively for the Cubs, was missed opportunities. Left a lot of men on base. 2 left on last inning. A couple on here, and let's see if they can cash in. There's 2 outs already, so
yeah, their
big
last
opportunity here for Castro to be a hero.
Last 7 games combined, the Cubs are 4 out of 45 with men in scoring position. And they've plated just 7 runs. A long ball would help too. They have not homered in their last 6. It's their longest home run drought since 2012. Well, a 2-0 count on Castro.
He drew a rare walk last time he was up. So that might get him a pitch to hit right here. We'll see how aggressive Nice is. Not very.
So Castro has walked both times, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs for Denorfia.
3-0, and just kind of goosed one up there, tried a 3-0 changeup. Couldn't find the strike zone. Basically, once he fell behind Castro, I think his thinking was, if Castro wants to get himself out by expanding his zone, I'll take it. If not, I'll move on to the next guy.
Dan Warthen, the pitching coach, out to talk it over.
Warthen just took a big deep breath himself and told Nice, take a big breath, settle down.
So the Cubs looking for that big 2-out hit here with 3 men on. Fowler at third, Bryant at second, and Castro now at first. Right at the knee, strike 1. Or at the Nice, maybe we should say tonight.
It's a Nice high fastball.
The 0-1 is outside. Our AT&T U-verse multi-view 2-out chance here in the 3rd inning. He's coming back. It's low. 2-1.
And a lot of time out of the strike zone here. He got Denorfia to chase last time up. Chris struck out on a changeup that was off the plate and down.
Shallow center. Flores backpedaling. He'll be called off by Lagares, who makes the play, and that ends the inning. The Cubs have stranded 5 over the last 2 frames.
They all happen in one place. Don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. There's still time to cast your votes for all your favorite Cub players. You can do it at Cubs.com.
5 stranded by the Cubs these last 2 innings, letting John Neese off the hook. And here is Juan Lagares. He's batting 9th behind the pitcher tonight. He missed the final 3 games of that series at Wrigley Field in May due to a side strain. Won a Gold Glove last year. He is a premier defender out in center, although the throwing arm has been mitigated by a torn ligament in his elbow. Two strikes on him.
He doesn't bring a lot to the table offensively. He is an extremely good defender.
Hendricks with an 0-2 pitch, and it misses outside on what looked like a cutter.
2 out of his last 28. He doesn't walk.
Changeup hit off the end of the bat on the ground to Russell. That's Kyle Hendricks at his best, where he gets a guy to take a swing at a pitch he thinks is going to be in the zone and ends up off the end of the bat.
Yeah, he'll go, throw a pitch in the zone that moves out of the strike zone, and we saw him with that 2-seam fastball that starts in off the plate, run back to the inside corner against the lefties. Fitting that he's the pitcher the night that Joe Madden has the magician in the clubhouse. Sleight of hand is kind of his style out there.
0-1 on Granderson. Caught looking on strikes in the first. Hendricks working with David Ross tonight. Spins one that lands high. It's 2-1. Good changeup. 2-2.
Yeah, that's a dandy right there. That's a perfect changeup. On the plate, diving down below the knees. That's off the outside corner. It's a little bit easier for a hitter to recognize.
It's a fair ball, and Rizzo makes the play unassisted. Now the shortstop, Tejada. One of the big stories around baseball after Ryan Sandberg last week resigned as the Phillies manager, and heard reports of an impending change at the top of the baseball department, and Andy McPhail has joined the Phillies, and after the season will officially become the team president. So he'll be a special assistant to Pat Gillick for the rest of this 2015 season.
Pat's going to step aside at the end of the year, move into more of a consulting role, and Andy will take charge. So this will give him some time to evaluate the situation there. Apparently they've announced that Pete Mackanin, the interim manager, will stay on through the rest of this year.
Phillies a major league worst 27-51. Cubs have not played them yet this season. One and two on Tejada. Foul tip, strike 3. Kyle Hendricks has been very good early on, and we'll go to the 4th. Cubs nothing, Mets nothing.
ticket holder waiting list. It's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waitlist.
Matt Caesar takes ball one. Been a busy night at LaGuardia, hasn't it? Granderson and right.
If you look out of the right side of your airplane, you'll see the Mets and the Cubs. They're in the fourth, and it's scoreless.
As Harry used to say, they're carrying the mail back to Chicago. Get a shot of an airplane. Ross flied to the warning track in right center in the second. Down 0-2 here. Pitcher spot next. Cubs trying to grab their 40th win. It's their 6th opportunity to get number 40.
Well, you're going through a little funk here. You've lost 5 in a row, having a hard time scoring runs sometimes. You need a starting pitcher to go out there and just hop on, boys. I got you covered tonight. Pitch a shutdown game so far. Hendricks has been doing just that. It's still very early.
Final 3 road games of the first half. 3-team homestand coming up. Starting Friday, Miami, St. Louis, and the White Sox. 3 bounces to the third baseman Murphy. Good stretch by Duda.
Yeah, the Cubs, they've been, going for a pretty tough part of the schedule, both in terms of the level of competition. A lot of teams above 500, playoff contending teams this year and last, and a lot of road games. Softened significantly here. Move into the All-Star break and beyond. I looked today, I want to say 20 out of 27 coming up against teams below 500. Or at least currently below 500.
Yeah, a big part of the deal here is to win the games you're, quote, supposed to win. They have gone 2-4 against Milwaukee. Dropped 2 of 3 in Miami earlier this season. So I'd like to change that around. And Hendricks played perfectly as Granderson barely had to take a step to his left. Still 0-0. writer David Hawes. They cover the teams, athletes, and personalities you care about. Make sure you don't miss the Cap and Haws Show, presented by Horwitz and Associates, weekday mornings at 9 on Comcast Sportsnet. Mets batting here in the fourth in a 0-0 tie. Ball one on Lucas Duda.
Pretty good looking pitches, must have been just off the plate. Duda got into a hitter's count last time, went 3-0, then 3-1 before singling to right. There's trouble with the off speed stuff.
Got a question via Twitter. Eric wants to know what the Cubs record is when David Ross starts compared to when Miguel Montero does. I have the answer. Cubs are 11-9 when Ross starts, 24-23 when Montero does, although Miguel, I think, added a DH start or two. But pretty similar records. That ball slicing and caught by Matt Caesar. On the other hand, David Ross catches the opening day starter John Lester. On the other hand, how many hands is that? John Lester has just been okay at times. So
there's really nothing.
Yeah,
nothing really there.
Right, that catcher
to make a story between. You know, they're better with one guy than the other. Caesar relying on his old football skills out there, making an adjustment to make that catch.
High and deep center field. Fowler racing after it. That ball's going to land on the track right up against the wall. And Daniel Murphy's got himself a double. A long two-base hit. He kind of looked aggravated when he dropped anchor at second. I think he's saying to himself, why did I have to hit it there? He probably hit it, JD, about 405 feet. Any other part of the park, it's a home run.
Yeah, well, he hit the ball right on the screws first time up, lined out to center field. That's what he does. He's a line drive hitter. He normally doesn't hit the ball out of the ballpark that often, but he really gets into this one. Great extension through the pitch, a big high finish. So he thought he got enough of it to get it out of here. But alas, he did not, and he'll have to settle for a one-out double. Mets have really struggled to score runs all year long, and like the Cubs, a great deal here lately, will benefit with the return of Murphy. Good, solid hitter.
Here's Kadire. Off the outside corner, ball one. I think the note when we were in St. Louis, Yadier Molina leads the league in catcher's ERA. And part of you goes, well, boy, that speaks to Yadi's ability to call a game and throw out base stealers. And then you think, wait a minute, he's catching the best staff in baseball.
Yeah. So it's a little of both. He's a very good defensive catcher, and I'm sure he helps those pitchers. But when you're catching a bunch of really good pitchers, you're likely to have a low catcher's ERA.
Hitters count here for Kadire, the kick and the pitch. And a sinker catches the outside. It's 2-1.
Eddie Perez back in the day when he was Greg Maddox's personal catcher in Atlanta. He had a pretty good catcher's ERA.
Kyle, 25 years old. Southern California native. College at Dartmouth, swing and a miss. 2-2. 8th round pick of the Texas Rangers in 2011.
Swing it down just a little bit here with the man in scoring position, being a little more thoughtful. Just kind of almost read his mind as he's reviewing his game plan against Kadire. Spends a lot of time breaking down video. Comes into a ball game with a real good idea what he wants to do. Other guys not so much. They just follow along with the catcher. But Hendricks not afraid, even for such a young guy, to impose his will out there.
He got him on the inside corner for strike 3. Good comeback in that at bat.
Yeah, well, you see, everything was away. He was soft, and then he comes with a fastball to the inside corner and just locks up Kadire.
Flores hit a couple of home runs at Wrigley in May. 10 home runs as a shortstop, tied for second in the major leagues. But as we mentioned, he's moved from short to second. Popped him up. Foul territory. It's Rizzo to end the inning. We go to the 5th. Neese and Hendricks have dominated the story early.
Pizza. Listen to the audio. That's wonderful. Hey, this Saturday, it's 4th of July. The Cubs take on the Miami Marlins. First pitch is at 6:15. First 10,000 folks at the ballpark will receive a Cubs camo cap presented by the Magellan Corporation. After the game, fireworks. We never said that before. Tickets still available at Cubs.com.
Underway now in the 5th. Low and in on Addison Russell.
Time for a leadoff double.
Okay.
Maybe a leadoff walk.
Second time he has led off an inning. That is right at the bottom of the zone. 3-1.
Play a little pepper with that 370 sign out there in left center. Other way. So, you know, there's been a lot of focus on the struggles of Bryant and Russell of late, but it's pretty much a team-wide slump.
Diving stop, Murphy from a knee. Got him. Not known for his glove. That's a heck of a play by Daniel Murphy.
Yeah, and as a third baseman with a guy like Neese on the mound, you'd expect to have a little bit of activity down there. That cutter in on righties oftentimes gets hit on the ground to the left side of the infield. Murphy up to the task of that time. Good at bat by Russell. Patient. Waited for a good pitch, hit it hard, but he's out. Joe Madden's talked a lot about trying to find a day to give his young guys a break, just to get them out of the pressure cooker a little bit.
Fowler hits a ground ball up the middle. Flores will backhand, sets, throws, and Fowler out.
Chris Bryant was asked about it the other day. He said, "Look, I'm a young guy. I'm not tired." And physically, he's probably not. But mentally, and a lot of times for a young player, I don't think you realize it until you do get a day or two off. The amount of stress involved. And these guys are used to playing every day in the minor league, so physically, it's not that different. But here, it's the challenge of competing at such a high level, night after night, against pitching that's significantly better than what you see in the minor leagues.
Rizzo bounces foul.
And obviously the ramifications are a lot greater here too. In the minor leagues, you go for 4 with a couple of punch outs. Go get them tomorrow. And you want to have that mindset in the big leagues, but when people are writing about it and it's a headline, it's a different animal.
So more pressure. The game is harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
My guess is you don't have as many friends and relatives asking for tickets in Biloxi or Des Moines as they do in Chicago and New York and Atlanta. A lot of outfield distractions to deal with at this level. Nice makes quick work of the Cubs in the 5th. Score runs, and that theme has continued here halfway through tonight. Bottom of the 5th, a scoreless tie. Back here tomorrow night and then Thursday afternoon to wrap up the trip. Cubs coming off the first series of the season in which they were swept. Milwaukee, the catcher. Ball 1 on a close pitch. Pirates leading at Detroit 3-0 over Justin Verlander in the top of the 4th inning.
Is that Garrett Cole tonight for the Pirates? Yeah.
Cole 3 scoreless innings, 1 strikeout to date. 3-0 with the pitcher on deck.
Started pumping fastballs over the heart of the plate. This is what happened with Milwaukee last time. Fell behind him. Ultimately, Milwaukee hit a single the other way.
Nationals jumped on Shelby Miller tonight. 5-0 Washington at Atlanta in the bottom of the fourth. 3-2 on Milwaukee. Cardinals hosting the White Sox, just getting started. Swing and a miss, strike three.
That's the confidence in that cut changeup right there. Milwaukee's still not happy with the earlier strike call, giving it to Chris Cuccione, the home plate umpire. A nice comeback by Hendricks. Last time he worked it full on him, and he threw him a fastball outer third, and he lined it to right. This time he comes with the changeup and fools him. 5 strikeouts for Hendricks.
Against 0 walks and just 3 hits. Chris Sale, Lance Lynn. Good matchup at Busch Stadium tonight. Called strike Denise. The Cubs' next opponent is the Miami Marlins. They have a 4-2 lead in the bottom of the fourth at home against San Francisco. Vogelsong and Latos are matching up. So Hendricks with an opportunity here for a quick fifth as he'll face the 9-hitter Lagares with 2 outs.
Both these pitchers have been very economical tonight. Just 67 pitches for Hendricks.
D. Gordon with an inside the park 3-run homer tonight for Miami. It's his first homer of the season. Jose Fernandez scheduled to make his season debut on Thursday versus San Francisco.
So D. Gordon hit a home run, but he didn't park it. Remember when we were kids,
right.
That was a thing. Did you park it? How many did you park?
He hit it, and then he ran really fast. Two and one. Yeah, you mentioned it. Hendricks knows what he wants to do. You saw Ross put down 2 fingers. He wanted a curveball, and Kyle said, nope. I want to throw that sinker on the outside.
Yep, he's got great command of his stuff. He's using his changeup more tonight, too, I think, than in some of his previous starts.
Caught a little too much of the zone for his liking, but he'll get the desired result as Lagares lines to right to end the inning.
installment of That Sports Thing with Chris Mars. It's actors and comedians getting all sportish. It's That Sports Thing presented by Miller Lite. New episodes available at csnchicago.com.
Still waiting for the first run. This would be a good spot for it. Bryant, Castro, DeNorfia against the veteran lefty John Meese. Here's the 1-0 pitch. 2-0. John Meese, 7th round pick, 2005 of the Mets, as JD mentioned off the top, out of Defiance, Ohio, where he was 2 years behind, at the time, future Major League pitcher Chad Billingsley. 3-0. Leadoff walk.
Very, very tentative with Bryant.
He signed with the Mets after getting a call from Gary Carter, Hall of Fame catcher, played on the '86 World Series champion Mets. Meese was born on the night the Mets won the World Series. So get out of play on October 27th of '86. How about these numbers as a senior in high school in Ohio? Meese went 12-0 with an ERA of .12. He gave up 1 run in 76 innings with 144 strikeouts. And he had to be a Met. I mean, if you're born the night they win Game 7 of the World Series, it just fits. Mentioned your appearance today on Chris Russo's show, and you guys talked about the '86 playoffs. I don't know if he asked you, would you beat the Red Sox had the Astros got past the Mets?
Darn right.
Pitch.
A little quick pitch.
1-2. Did you even watch the series after? A lot of guys won't.
A little bit, off and on.
Were you watching live when the ball went?
Yeah, well, I was actually at my brother-in-law's house because we were having a little get-together from my other future brother-in-law because they're not ready to get married.
Norris makes the catch, 1 away. It's funny, those moments like that. I remember where I was when Kirk Gibson hit the homer off Dennis Eckersley. It's funny how you remember where you were because of those big moments that you watched on television. And I guess the other question I would ask you, that's early in your career, did you just assume, oh, well, I'll be back in the playoffs every year?
Absolutely. Well, not everybody figured we'd be back. We thought you were building towards something where, and there was no wild card back in the day, so obviously it was a little bit tougher to get back. But yeah, I guess that would be the one piece of advice I'd give to a young player. Don't make any assumptions or take anything for granted. That's why the guys, the really elite players in free agency have, the ability to kind of handpick. I want to go play for that team because they're going to have a real good chance to win in the next 3 or 4 years. Most guys don't have that opportunity.
They go where they're wanted. Where
you could find a job.
Meese with a barehanded play, and he'll only get the out at first. He clearly wanted to try to get 2. That became improbable, if not impossible, so he decided to get the sure out at first.
That was pretty clever there. Watch this play with the bare hand. Look at second, didn't like his chances there, took the sure thing at first. Reaching for it on the backhand side, and then just felt more comfortable barehanding it.
Caesar with a runner at second and 2 outs. 9th start of the year for Matt. Mentioned his major league debut was in this ballpark, and he drives one out into deep left. That ball will be off the wall, and the Cubs got the lead as Bryant will score. Matt Caesar with a run scoring. 2-base hit. It's 1-0 in the 6th.
Well, Caesar with 2 hits tonight. Both came when he attacked that very first pitch. His first at bat, he jumped on the first pitch for a single to left. This time he drives one to the wall for a run scoring double. A little get over curveball, and he appeared to be sitting on it. So the defensive nature with which Nice approached Bryant comes back to bite him. Bryant takes his walks, and Caesar able to pay it off with the double.
They'll now intentionally walk Ross to face the pitcher Hendricks. There's ball 3.
Belisario last night threw one of these to the backstop, an intentional walk. Pitching for Tampa. I think he's with Tampa now.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they're issuing an intentional walk in the airmail, and I think a run may have scored on it.
Hey, this Sunday, July 5th, the holiday weekend, Cubs will take on the Miami Marlins at 1:20. And the first 5,000 kids in attendance will get an Anthony Rizzo life-size fabric growth chart presented by ATI Physical Therapy. Then after the game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger with wristbands will be allowed on the field to run the bases, weather permitting. For more info, it's Cubs.com. Swinging strike on Hendricks. Next offering on the outside corner. So Hendricks will take the ball with the lead for the first time tonight in the bottom of the 6th. Punches this one foul the other way. You and I will be out in the new bleachers on Friday afternoon. Below the new video board and left. Called strike 3 to end the inning. Matt Caesar RBI double, and it's 1-0 Cubs.
presented by Comcast Sports Net. For tickets, visit Cubs.com. That is one handsome cooler.
Big hit by Matt Caesar. 2-out double. Giving the Cubs the lead. Top of the order now for the Mets. Third time through. Granderson, Tejada, and Duda. One and one.
Always a challenge third time through. The hitters have got a pretty good look at Hendricks. They know what he's featuring here tonight.
Fly ball into the left field corner. Long run over Caesar, and he makes a catch in foul territory up against the sidewall. Nicely done.
Definitely in the mix for our 3-star selection here tonight is Matt Caesar. Second good play out there in the outfield, and he's been the offensive star so far.
James Russell up in the Cubs bullpen. Curveball outside on Tejada.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the third time around. A little first pitch breaking ball from Hendricks, trying to change the look a little bit. Fairly sinker changeup reliant. Sinker changeup cutter, I should say.
Deep center. Fowler tracking, and he makes the basket grab. Nicely done by Fowler. 2 really good catches here to start the 6th.
Yeah, well, Hendricks at the mercy of the count. 2-0. Tejada, excuse me, not a real dangerous hitter, so you're going to challenge him. He put a good swing on it, and Fowler able to run under it. Ultimately secure the baseball.
Nice cradle there on that ball that almost got out of his glove. Duda has singled and lined to left. That pitch just a little low. Fun matchup of the Royals and the Astros in Houston. Duffy and Keuchel, the pitchers. They're scoreless in the 3rd. It's blowing in, almost hit him. I think he thought it did hit him.
Chris Guccione's giving him his base.
I think Guccione just said that didn't hit you.
Or maybe David did. I don't know. Somebody back there was. Bounce between his feet.
I'm going with no, and the main reason is when Duda was asked to come back, he just picked up his bat.
Yeah,
he was trying to sell it,
and frankly, if I'm Duda, I don't want to be hit by a pitch. I want to be hitting 2 balls, no strikes in a 1-run game. He's their best power threat.
Terry Collins, and on the right, Bob Guerin, his bench coach. 3-0.
Mentioned Kyle's previous start here last year, 7 innings of 1-run ball. And I believe it was a Duda home run. I think that was the only run he allowed in that game. Been very cautious with him here tonight. Wants to throw him a heater, and David doesn't want to. Ross asked for a changeup. Kyle shook that off. Ross said, all right, let's try the curveball. And Ross wasn't about to put that number 1 down before he talked to Kyle Hendricks about it.
Murphy on deck. Cubs leading 1-0. He walked him.
I thought he might come with a changeup there after the back-to-back curveballs, but he tried to paint down and away with a fastball. And that's probably the safest pitch in terms of staying away from power. Just try to paint a corner, and if you miss down or off.
Comes Chris Fazio to the mound, and it's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NorthsideDataStrongFan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
So understandable that once he fell behind Duda that they didn't want to give in. The downside, of course, is that Murphy comes up here and he's had the best swings of anybody on the Mets club tonight.
North side D-A-T-A. He's typing in too many. You've reached your limit, sir. Murphy fresh off the DL. All-star for the first time last year. Second baseman by trade, but he's playing third with David Wright on the DL. Curveball missed. Siciliani is on deck. Before Kadire.
Nair must be hurting, huh?
You would think so. I can't imagine any other reason why he would come out.
Tough situation for Hendricks right here. Probably feels like if he walks him, he's out of the ball game. Just don't want to lay one in there here on 3-1.
This will get him out of the inning. Caesar makes the catch. Matt gave the Cubs the lead with an RBI double in the top of the inning. Citi Field in New York, 1-0. A 1-0 lead as we get into the 7th, and Siciliani will stay in the game. So it looks like there's something wrong with Michael Kadire. We'll update you as we find out. Reese continues on, facing Addison Russell. 9th in the lineup, but he's played leadoff man 3 times tonight. All 3 times, in fact. And he pops one into center. Means he played Lagares. Mr. Met needs a bigger hat.
Or a smaller head.
Oh. 0-2 on Fowler. Hitting .349, right-handed, just .217 as a lefty. Most of his at-bats have come from the left side. He does not even have a stolen base attempt in his last 32 games coming in. His on-base percentage during this stretch, .248. We were talking with Joe about guys who steal bases. When they don't get on a lot, they get a little more tentative as he strikes out.
Yeah, they just kind of get out of the rhythm and the flow. And then he had the ankle thing, but I think it's more the former than the latter. Cubs just have not seen. Nobody says there's not that much left-handed pitching, starting pitching in the game, it seems. Cubs have been really good. They have the highest OPS in the National League against left-handed pitching.
Rizzo looking for his first hit tonight, 0 for 3. John Lester and Bartolo Colon tomorrow night. And then Jake Arrieta and Jacob deGrom on Thursday afternoon. A lot of hair right there.
Could be a lot of punch outs in that ball game. Yeah, that's a lot of lettuce he's got working.
Granderson and Lagares. It'll be the center fielder to take it. Stretch time from New York. 1-0 Cubs.
On night and weekend games, that's at 3900 North Rockwell. Maybe you want to ride your bike. Well, there's a free bike check. That's at Clark and Addison. But as always, the Cubs suggest the use of public transportation. For details, visit Cubs.com.
Hector Rondon is been the closer. We've seen him in the 8th. Tonight we see him in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, well, and you know, from this point on, regardless, you know, it's all high leverage situations now. 1-run ball game, final third of the game. So Madden's been impressed by what he has seen from Rondon in recent outings. As you check in with the numbers, 3-1, a 2.27 ERA for Hector. League bats .231 against them. He's allowed a couple of long ones. Kyle Hendricks, splendid here this evening.
Our first look at Daryl Siciliani, 25 years old, recently turned 25, 4th round pick of the Mets, 2009, out of Columbia Basin College, Pasco, Washington. And he takes strike 1. He can run. He's got 4 steals already, 63 plate appearances. Fastball missed, 1-1.
96 with a little come on back action, just didn't quite work its way back to the inside corner.
Siciliani from Oregon, Madras, Oregon. Don't want to walk him.
No.
He's got some on-base skills, 350 on-base average. As a minor leaguer, just about 500 games over 7 seasons. Old foul. Tom Goodwin, former Cub. That's first base coach. Joe Badloss is across the way at third. No, it's Tim Tuffle. Called strike 3. Got him.
Nice comeback by Rondon. Siciliano locked up by that inside fastball.
Siciliani in for Kadire, who has left knee soreness. That's why he came out of the game.
Siciliani. I think I said Siciliano. Should be no. It sounds rolls off the tongue better.
Right. And the knee makes sense because that's what Kadire's dealing with.
You got to be careful with Flores. It doesn't hit for much average, but he's got pop.
Well, the U.S. women's soccer team's in the finals of the World Cup, beat Germany. It's an upset, right?
I believe, yeah, I believe Germany was favored.
Three 3-0 now to Flores. There's Bobby Parnell. The Mets bullpen coming back. Tommy John. Ball strike. Russell. Rondon's gotten behind the first 2 batters of the inning, but he's come back to get them both. Bring up the catcher, Plawecki. I want to send out our congrats as well to Maria Desidue and her team has successfully completed the Avon 39 walk for breast cancer research and awareness. And our very own associate producer Tamara Anderson completed the walk June 6th and 7th. Nicely done, Tamara. Here's Plawecki. Didn't mean to, and he fouled.
Kyle Hendricks tonight, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. He walked 1, struck out 6 through 90 pitches. Lowered his ERA to 4.15. Cubs hang on. It will be his third win.
John Mayberry Jr. on deck. He would hit for Nice. Should be routine for Castro, and it is. 1, 2, 3, go the Mets. 1-0 Cubs. Baseball here on CSN comes to you Friday from the bleachers. We'll be out there at Wrigley Field. 12:30 starts our coverage. Marlins and the Cubs. First pitch at 1:20. Cubs pregame live at 12:30 is brought to you by Fields Auto.
I'm going to buy a floppy hat for that one.
I don't think so. Hard throwing Bobby Parnell, making his return from Tommy John surgery. Appeared on opening day last year and then had the elbow reconstruction, and we'll see what he's done in his 2015 return.
And 22 saves for the Mets in 2013 and 6 appearances since rejoining the ball club, and the numbers are good. The velocity is down, as you might expect. Post surgery, he's a guy who back in the day high 90s. So far this year, that fastball is sitting around 92 miles an hour on average. He also has a curveball and a change.
Here we go. Fouled off.
As he worked his way back, he pitched in 15 rehab games and didn't get the Mets too excited with his performance there. He had an 11.57 ERA, allowed 18 earned runs in 14 innings of work.
6'3", 205. That's a good curveball right there. 0-2. Parnell hails from Salisbury, North Carolina, went to Charleston Southern University. Debuted in 08. Whole career with the Mets. Drafted in 2005 in the 9th round. Is Charleston Southern in the southern part of Charleston? I've never been there. Just curious.
Yeah,
or is
I
it
don't
southern
know.
because it's kind of in the south part of the country?
It's called Charleston
Southern University in Charleston, South Carolina. Is there a Charleston Northern?
I'm going to guess not.
These are questions. There's a College of Charleston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can do the Charleston.
Sean Gilmartin. Two and two on Chris Bryant. Now it's full.
Bryant got it started last time up. Drew a leadoff walk on 4 pitches from Jonathan Neese. Went to second on a little tapper back to the mound. Scored on the Caesar double. Parnell being cautious here as well. And boy, it's something when you usually once through 98 and now you're throwing that fastball at 90-91. It's hard to trust that pitch. My guess is he's going to try to get him outside of the strike zone, either with an elevated fastball or a curveball down. I think they're going to go fastball away here. Ooh. Pretty confident, but he dialed it up a little bit. Got that one to 94. So there's a little more there when he needs it, apparently. See, they've stayed away from Bryant until that pitch. He's probably thinking curveball a little late on the heater.
Ball 4. This is how the run scoring inning in the 6th.
Nice
began.
night for Bryant. Yeah, he singled back in the 3rd and then worked 2 walks. And this one was most impressive. You think he might be pressing a little bit. Just spit on that curveball and took his base.
Two walks and a flyout for Castro. Denorfia on deck behind him. Twins and Reds have not yet started. So they've been in a rain delay for a couple of hours. Phil Hughes and Anthony DeSclafani, the scheduled pitchers. Double play ball. 6-4 to Drew. 2 outs, nobody on here in the Cubs 8th.
After this Saturday night's matchup with the Miami Marlins, Weber Sauces and Seasonings presents the first ever post-game fireworks show at Wrigley Field. All fans are encouraged to stick around and enjoy the 4th of July festivities. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Now Denorfia with 2 gone. Three of the 4 Cubs wins in that series at Wrigley were by 1 run. I'm going to trust Glenn on Twitter. Charleston Southern is located 18 miles northwest of downtown Charleston. Okay.
Apparently not a lot of geography majors there.
Denorfia chased one in the dirt. Parnell works a scoreless 8. Mets will bat in the bottom of the 8th. Here comes Pedro Strop. Roles have changed out in the bullpen. Joe likes to be able to kind of mix and match.
Yeah, it's a fluid situation. And Strop, blown save charged to him last time out. He gave up the pinch hit home run to Greg Garcia in St. Louis on Friday. It was a 3-2 loss. He had been going along quite nicely prior to that outing, and 10 or 11 consecutive scoreless appearances prior to that one.
By the way, the Chris Bryant walked 9 times this year. Now he has gone 0-2 to 4-2. He and Curtis Granderson have the major league lead in that category. How about that?
Yeah. Maybe someday, years from now, that will be known as a Bryant.
Right.
Kind of like the complete game less than 100 pitches is a Maddox.
Johnny Monell, left-handed swinging catcher. In the pinch tonight, 0-2 from Strop.
Bench has not been productive at all for the Mets. Their pinch hitters collectively batting .161. That's dead last in the NL.
Pop fly right field. Denorfi has got it. Only 7 hits combined tonight for these two teams. Cubs have the only run.
Yeah, it's said at the outset of the ball game that might set the over/under at 5 total runs in this game. I guess I went a little high.
Well, we're not done yet. The Cubs hope scoring is finished. Castro behind second, lobs over. Lagares is out. That's last hit was a Daniel Murphy 4th inning double.
Kyle Hendricks retired the leadoff man in every inning that he pitched. Bullpen has recorded 5 consecutive outs.
Jerry's Familia is the righty on the left. Gil Martin, the lefty on the right. That's got off to a great start, 13-3, including an 11-game winning streak. They had a 10-0 homestand. But after that sizzling start, they've gone 27-34. And Terry Collins has called this a critical stretch, a critical point in their season. It's 9 games against winning clubs.
They've gone to the 6-man rotation. There's another quick pitch from Strop.
Called strike 3 to get Granderson. Bullpen perfect. Rondon and Strop for the 7th and the 8th. That'll take us to the 9th. Still 1-0.
Gil Martin has allowed 17 hits in 24 innings. He's walked 10. He's only allowed the 1 home run. A .188 ERA. Has a real good changeup, and he's been really good against right-handed hitters, in large part because of that changeup. Fall into the category of a crafty left-hander, not overpowering.
Good night for Matt Caesar, the New Jersey native. Hometown about 3 hours south of Citi Field, Cape May, New Jersey. 1 strike on him, single, double, knocked in a run in the 6th inning, and there's only been 1 run in this ball game. He bunted, and then he ran right into the ball. It's foul.
Cubs just couldn't seem to get the big clutch hit in that weekend series in St. Louis. They haven't exactly knocked the cover off the ball here tonight, but one big swing of the bat, maybe all they need here tonight. It came with 2 outs, and Chris Bryant standing on second base.
Tutorial on wearing stirrups if you're a young baseball player. You see Sean Gilmartin. The opening, the big opening, goes in the back. Okay.
He's straight old school. He's got those pants bloused, got the sock folded down over the pant.
Swing and a miss for the first out. Jason Mott getting ready. Jason and his former teammate John Jay hosted a charity cornhole challenge event on Sunday. Don't have the final tally on how much money they raised, but he said they had a better turnout this year than last year. Last year he was a Cardinal. Some Cub teammates showed up. Nicely done. Raising money for cancer research and families affected by cancer.
Yeah, that was very nice. Obviously a great cause, and players from both teams there. What was the slogan? The rivals on the field, but teammates off, something to that effect.
That sounds right. Yep. Benefited the Jason Mott Foundation in Make-A-Wish, Missouri. Ross strikes out swinging. Yeah, it's tough. You know, when you get traded, when you sign with a new team, you put down roots in a certain place if you've been there for a while. And you know, the people there in St. Louis appreciate the fact that Jason continues to give back there. And hopefully he'll be in Chicago for a while. And
yeah, he's very well received when he came in to pitch in St. Louis.
Chris Coghlan keeping his games played streak alive with a late pinch hit appearance.
A lefty may provide a little more competition for Gil Martin. That changeup against the righties is such a good weapon. I don't know if it's as effective against left-handed hitters. It's a guy that throughout his minor league career that started with the Braves in 2011 was pretty much exclusively a starting pitcher.
139th consecutive appearance for Chris Coghlan.
That would be Cal Coghlan.
The next closest player in the National League is Curtis Granderson, who tonight played in his 100th consecutive contest.
I would not be surprised if the Cal Ripken streak was never broken. I don't know if clubs would want to be in that position again, where you're at the mercy of the streak, and you want to give a guy a day off, and feel like you can't.
Yeah, whatever that number is, whether it's 600, 700 games, maybe even 1,000. There is a certain point where you almost have to stop it before it
gets a life of its own.
Yeah. Because look, as impressive a streak as that was, there had to be days where his manager, at one point it was his dad, right, who probably wanted to sit him.
Oh yeah,
and couldn't.
And certainly, Cal obviously a great performer, but he would have benefited from the occasional day off.
That's Jason Mott standing still. He's not one of those guys who just stands and watches without doing something, like tossing the ball to himself, or trying to fire a bullet like the old catcher would. And here he comes, leading 1-0 to the bottom of the ninth. Most of the game is Kyle Hendricks. He was a little better than Jonathan Neese. He went 6 innings, gave up no runs.
Yeah, we talked so much about the sinker, but I think tonight it was the changeup, the ability to work that pitch off the outside corner. And then he used the fastball as a surprise pitch. You saw it there, the elevated fastball to get the foul tip strikeout at Tejada. Punched out Granderson early on with a good two-seam fastball. So very good start for Kyle Hendricks here tonight. Rondon and Strop have done their job, and now it falls to Jason Mott to finish it off. 34 times he has trotted out there. He's 5-1 with a 3.14 ERA, and he's looking for his third save in his third try. 2-3-4 to bat here for the Mets in the ninth.
42 saves with St. Louis in 2012. Did not pitch the following year after Tommy John surgery. Came back last year. He's got just a little bit better every time out here as a Cub. Tejada, Duda, and Murphy for the Mets. Tough one for John Neese. We had mentioned coming in 8 winless starts in a row. This will be 9. Best he can get is a no decision, as he went 7 and gave up 1 run.
Fastballs and cut fastballs from Mott.
95 and a strike. Pitch. 1-1. Something kind of blissful about the way Jason Mott approaches his craft, in that nothing about it is subtle. It's just kind of like a 10-year-old kid. I'm just going to grab it. I'm a pitcher. Okay, I'm going to just throw it as hard as I can.
Yeah, if he were a tool, he would be a jackhammer. Nothing subtle.
Did you just call him a tool?
No,
okay.
That's.
Yeah, I don't want to start any rumors.
As I was saying that, that's exactly what. If he were an implement, he would be a jackhammer.
The 1-2 is fouled off, and you like the idea of the game being started by a meticulous and prepared Kyle Hendricks. Not that Mott's not prepared, but how he goes about his business, and then Mott coming in, throwing as hard as he possibly can.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the challenge for Jason is just to make sure he does his work downstairs. He can beat you with that elevated fastball, but yeah, he needs to get down there from time to time too and keep those hitters honest.
Got him with the cutter. We're out number 1.
It's always the downside with a guy like Mott late in the game in a 1-run game. You know, you throw that elevated fastball. He's a fly ball pitcher, and you're always worried about somebody running into one. But with these dangerous hitters, and you wouldn't put Tejada in that category, but you certainly would Duda. You got to be a little more discerning with your approach. Stay away from his power.
Off the plate outside, ball 1.
Most left-handed sluggers, that power is down and in.
The other thing about Jason, he's got the closer thing going, right? A little intimidating. He's a little quirky. He seems to be built for this type of job. Got some style. On the ground and right into the shift. That's Russell. 2 outs. The way Joe puts it, when it gets hot, that doesn't mean the temperature, it means the situation. Jason's the same guy.
Same guy, yeah. Yeah, you might beat him, but he's not going to panic.
Two outs, 9th inning. Daniel Murphy, first game off the DL.
Mets have 4 base runners tonight. 3 of the 4 have come with 2 outs and nobody on.
Yeah, so their opportunities have really been limited as a result. They have not been able to sustain any sort of rally in an inning. Popped him up. Castro, long run, and it's going to make the seats. 3 Cubs in the area. Fair amount of foul territory in front of the dugouts, but then that quickly evaporates as the wall kind of diagonally chews up much of foul territory as you get into the outfield.
Challenge fastball. Murphy's had good swings tonight. Lined out first time up, long double. He thought he'd gone deep back in the 4th. Straightaway center field, but it stayed in the ballpark. Otherwise, we'd be tied.
1-2 on the way. Fly ball center field. Dexter Fowler underneath. Cubs win. Cubs win a combined 3-hit shutout tonight as they created some magic in a 1-0 final.
There was a magician in the clubhouse before the game as Joe Maddon tried to lighten the mood, and then there was some magic on the mound from Kyle Hendricks and his mates coming out of that Cubs bullpen, completely shutting down this Met lineup here tonight.
So the losing streak is over, and your final score tonight: the Cubs 1 and the Mets 0. We're back with you Friday, 12:30 for a pregame coverage for beautiful Wrigley Field. We'll be out of the bleachers. Marlins and Cubs on CSN. Now for JD and our entire crew here in New York. Len Casper inviting you to stay tuned as Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live is next.